and welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Sunday special, but we love a special guest, which we have today. Welcome to the show, hilarious comic, Verdas. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys. Good to see you.
So good to see you. Right now, you are on your Mindful tour.
Yes.
Which will stop in countries on every continent except Antarctica.
There are 1.4 billion of us, and we banged everywhere except for Antarctica.
That's it? You're fucking in all these continents?
Yes, absolutely.
You're banging
It's
everywhere.
too cold there. I get it.
Yeah, I get it. No one wants to sleep in an igloo.
Say what you will about being Indian. Ticket sales are never a problem. Except for
I gotta.
Amazing.
So is that like you gotta tell your story? I think
Jews are not as lucky, right?
No, we're I've heard the numbers.
Smaller,
That's
smaller
all
population. That's what I'm seeing a lot.
The last couple weeks, all I've heard about is our numbers. We don't have a lot of us.
but in all fairness, your crowd's really loyal.
Yeah, well, we go to bat. Now, hold on. Now, tell your story. You're a movie star.
I am in movies.
You're being humble. Just say it for us. We need the star power.
All right, yeah, sure. I do movies.
Okay.
I do Hindi movies sometimes. Yeah.
Like Bollywood?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. You know, my dad has my dad's name. I've learned is very popular. It's like a popular Indian star. I think is John Abraham.
Yeah.
That's like a very big. Someone once asked me if that was who my
John
dad
and
was.
Abraham aren't exactly specifically Indian names, like beyond the movie star as well. Like, you
Right.
know. But yeah, no, he's a huge guy.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's a guy in India
Named
John Abraham.
Yeah, and that's my dad's name.
And he's like our Sylvester Stallone. Like,
Come on.
Just
Like
a
a-
muscular man, alpha man.
This is, I mean, why John? But John, you said that's not an Indian name,
So
right?
that's what you're looking
at. Look at those abs.
That's my dad.
Look at
You
that.
found-
That's her dad.
No, that is definitely not my dad. If you've ever seen my dad. You've seen my dad.
I've seen your dad.
Yeah, it's not
That ain't
my
your
dad.
But
That is your dad after he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like,
right. Well, that's not anyone's dad. Let me just be nice to your dad. That is not.
he has kids.
That's a daddy, a zaddy.
Yeah, it's his daddy.
That's no dad. I mean, my God. What? So, but why the English name?
I think he's part of, like he's an Anglo-Indian, which is, you know, there's a big Christian community in India. So he just has a Christian name. Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. I guess if I was to be honest, I know nothing
About India.
Like if I was to really be like, Jordan, what do you, I know Bollywood exists,
Yeah.
but then.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much. I liked I really love Indian food.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounded
Guys,
very
sounds like
stupid.
a mom
That
meeting
sounded very
someone's
stupid.
Indian
you set me up.
boyfriend.
You set me up for that.
I'm sorry. It's okay. I think we have to admit
Yes.
our.
Guys, I know nothing about India either.
Okay,
So
good.
that-
Thank God.
All three of us are on the same page.
Thank God.
Well, are you?
Oh my God.
So you're born in India?
I was born in India, but I was raised in Africa. I was raised in
Okay.
Lagos, Nigeria, where I got my ass whooped because I was the Indian kid. Then I went to boarding school in India, where I got my ass whooped because I was the African kid. Then
That's the way it goes.
I went to public school in New Delhi, where I got my ass whooped because I was the kid from boarding school.
Okay.
Then I came to Galesburg, Illinois, where I was the kid from India to study drama. Then I went back to
what
Get your ass
college?
kicked there?
Yeah.
Knox College. Small liberal arts campus.
Well, liberal arts school. He's studying drama, so he's doing the ass kicking now.
I'm doing the ass
yeah. It changes. At that
And then I go back to Bollywood, where I'm the kid from American Drama School. And now I'm in America, where I'm the guy from Bollywood. So I've fit in all my life, guys.
Well, I mean,
How did you get into comedy?
Rejection, vodka, and I was in I was in like one of those touchy-feely acting programs, like, you know, very Stanislavskian, where you sit in a circle and cry all day. And at the end of like fucking 4 years, I wanted something rebellious. And so I ended up writing this show called, forgive me, Brown Men Can't Hump.
Brown man can't hump.
Yeah, and it was my thesis performance in college. So like, you know, you do stand up for 5 minutes,
Sure.
for like 30 people. I did 90 minutes for 800 people the first time I did stand up.
And that was as a class project. That was
Yeah.
at your end of
90,
college.
90
Wow.
minutes is
90
a
minutes.
long set.
Oh, it is the longest, especially
some
at a college.
5-minute sets are 90 minutes
Right,
long.
That's true.
That's been
Yeah.
said. Yes, so you go. I guess, like, to the people that, if our listeners don't know you,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I can read the resume. He has a Netflix special. It's streaming right now. It's called it's called Landing.
Yes.
It's out. Go watch it. He was just nominated for a 2023 International Emmy for Best Comedy. I've watched you at the Stellar. You're hilarious.
Thank you, man.
It's a fantastic watch. Everyone should go see you live. You're doing some amazing venues.
Yes, I'm doing Carnegie Hall in January. I'm doing the Chicago Theater, the Tabernacle in Atlanta, and I'm doing the Kennedy Center. And like 15 American cities, but these are the 4 big ones I'd love to push.
I mean, well, these are the ones that, you're going to have amazing crowds. It's going to be awesome. I mean, New York, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Chicago, DC, go to Verdas's website. Go get those tickets now.
Please do.
Please go get them, because I'm telling you right now, Verdas is hilarious and awesome. You're going to love him. But you blew up in a movie. Like, I think it's so interesting that you, in India, can you walk down the street?
Yeah.
You
fame's
can, but
yeah,
like, do you get
yeah.
approached?
He's like, but I don't want to. I prefer to take a helicopter.
I'm like a double-decker bus. If they see me on the street, they'll be like, "Oh, I know what that is."
Okay.
Okay.
I may not want to take a ride, but I know what that is.
Right.
I know he exists. So yeah, it's weird to have like an entire set of millions of people who know who you are, but it's not for stand-up.
Right.
And the weird dichotomy is that, at least movie stardom, if you will, is kind of, it bases itself on inaccessibility, on mystery. And then stand-up is nothing but connecting and being open. So it's weird to have people come up and be like, "Man, I saw you in that movie," and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm just sad and have acid reflux."
I'm just like you.
I'm just like you. And then they don't know what to do with that. So,
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer stand-up?
stand-up.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Okay.
stand-up. Absolutely. You don't have to dehydrate yourself and work out and stand on ridiculous mountains, and it's better. Like right now, I'm just I shoot like a big action movie in February, so I'm on no carbs, no sugar,
wow.
and I just understand why all heroes are assholes. You
Right,
know what I mean? Like
right.
I'm just actively unhappy.
I mean, do you have a chef? Is there a trainer?
There's a trainer, so the studio pays for a trainer.
How many days a week?
It's 6 days a week, and it's twice a day. 6
Twice?
days.
Twice a day.
So it's-
2-a-days.
It's fasted cardio early in the morning, and then actual training at 1:30. And then I have a guy who Googles every hotel I'm in and sends the room service menu to a nutritionist who then pre-orders what I get to eat.
That's pretty nice.
And then on
It's-
Sunday, I get a beer and
They
a
don't trust
cigarette.
you.
Yeah, they don't trust me at all. Yeah.
Well, that's like, I mean, it's nice until you're like, is that, you ever had a nutritionist put a meal together for you? No. It's like the most sad thing in the world. They'll go, yeah, you can have like, half of a peanut.
Right.
And then
like,
they'll
what's the
say it
point?
positively.
Yeah.
They'll go, you can have like half the peanut. And you're like,
I have
oh,
been
cool.
told I could have half a glass of wine, and that's also kind of like, what's the point?
Right. Why
And
am
then
I here?
It's always like you can have like quinoa and whale essence and fuck, like just like shit you don't get anywhere.
Right.
And this is like a Western studio as well. So like no Western nutritionist understands fucking Indian cuisine at all. So they don't know what the
Explain that.
equivalent of because your cuisine is, forgive me, simple, right?
Please.
It's like fucking carbs and protein and some green
Franks
shit.
and beans,
Not as
baby.
many spices.
Yeah, but like Indian food is butter and ghee and 9 masalas and
Yeah.
then some protein and carbs inside the protein. So just American nutritionists are just frazzled by the whole thing.
I went to Dhamaka. Have you been to that place?
I'm going on Sunday.
It's pretty unbelievable. I loved it.
I will let you know.
Please let me know.
I will
Well-
let you know if you had Indian
Okay.
food. all
Nimesh
right?
brought me there. He was in charge of the ordering.
Well, Nimesh grew up in New Jersey,
Right,
so I will
right.
let you
You're-
know. all right? Like,
It's not a real
let's be
Indian.
honest.
Okay, good. I would never say that to him, but
He can say it.
You can
He
say
can
that.
it, yeah.
Was
Be
chicken
weird
tik-
if you said it.
Right. What the fuck do you know, man?
was chicken tikka masala on the menu?
I don't think so.
Does that mean it's bad?
It's bad, yeah.
Really?
That
'Cause
does
I
not
love chicken.
exist in India.
I thought I liked Indian food. I'm learning I don't.
No, that
That's the
shit we made
California
up.
roll.
Yeah, we
of-
made up that shit to get money from white people. That's
That was
literally
it?
what it
What
is.
about butter chicken?
Butter chicken's ours.
That's
yeah, for
okay.
Sure.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That
It's
one I
like-
can still order.
It's chicken tikka masala is the Deepak Chopra of of Indian cuisine. Does not exist in India at all.
You're married.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been married?
9.5 years now.
Oh,
I'll be
wow.
10 soon. Yeah.
How did you meet?
My wife, she gate crashed my housewarming party, and we were both. I had just broken off an engagement, and she had just broken off an engagement as well.
Hold on. Let's
Is
back
this
it
very
up.
common in
No, not at all.
Okay.
So I was engaged, and then the girl I was going to marry went off to do an MBA before we got married. So
Okay.
she was going to finish off an MBA, and then
What were you doing?
I was doing my first movie. So I'd just gotten cast in a movie.
Were you famous yet?
No.
Okay.
And then
You're not a double decker bus yet.
No, I'm not a double.
You're a van, an unmarked van.
I'm a rickshaw without petrol in it.
Okay.
It's-
Can you translate that for us? I don't know what either of those things are. Okay.
you don't know what petrol is.
I know what a rickshaw
It's
is.
why you guys have
Yeah.
invaded the
Oh,
entire
okay,
world. You know
sorry.
what petrol is.
Okay.
All right. So
Oh, that.
yeah,
Rickshaw is like the thing.
yeah,
that
like
you,
a three-wheeler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're-
A Vespa with gas.
Yeah, a Vespa with 3 wheels.
Okay.
Three wheels
And
no
a
gas.
passenger
You
seat.
Bike it, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of right. Like you pedal it.
Yeah,
right?
it's what the guys at Times Square with the disco lights,
okay.
that
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And so then the girl found somebody else over there. I got cheated on, but we had sent out like 2,000 invites
Oh
for this
wow.
wedding.
2,000.
This is
That's
an Indian
an
wedding.
average size
That's
Indian wedding.
average. Oh my god. I don't think I know 2,000 people.
That's
Like, I couldn't-
80% family. Like 2,000
Oh
is
my
80%
God.
for family.
Crazy. Well, hold on.
Did you? Were you gonna ride on an elephant?
No, I was gonna arrive on what I eventually arrived on, which was like an ATV.
Oh,
I
no.
rode up on an
Is that a thing?
yeah, but-
Arrive on an elephant?
That's
yeah.
the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so like elephant or a horse or a cow or a jeep or some vehicle takes the groom towards the bride.
Okay, so this is I have to
Like
go
you guys
back.
have a sad father who
Yeah.
walks up.
Who's pissed off because he? I mean, I can't imagine how sad
Right.
the Indian fathers are that they're paying for 2,000 people's dinner.
Well, we go Dutch.
Oh,
You go Dutch.
Yeah, we go Dutch
That's
on
the
a wedding.
custom?
Yeah,
Half and half?
now
Okay.
modern Indian weddings
Okay.
will go Dutch.
Well, hold on. You're
2,000 people. Oh my god.
how would you even plan for 2,000?
I don't know. I'd have to like literally invite every person I've ever met. I think.
Is it just a mass Facebook invite? What
Listen, 2,000 people is a Friday where I come from. You will run into 2,000 people.
that really? I mean,
I mean-
is that how packed it is in India? Is that what it
My grandfather has 14 brothers and sisters.
Oh my god.
Right?
14.
So now you think about like that's just my dad's side of the family.
Right.
And they all had like 3 or 4 kids each. So you just think about that spider
And they're all
web.
invited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, okay, how did you meet the first fiance?
It was I asked for her number at a party.
At a
She was-
party.
yeah. And so
But when she goes off to get her MBA and you're engaged,
yeah.
you're living away from each other, you're doing distance.
Yeah.
And then how do you find out that she cheated?
She told me. She
told you.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, she was
Oh.
like,
All right,
I
so
was
she's
like,
braver than I am.
honest,
Yeah.
honest cheater. Honest cheater.
and
yeah.
then I canceled the wedding, but forgot to cancel the pandit, the priest.
Okay.
So we canceled 2,000 invites. And then on the day of the wedding, the priest called up and he's like, I'm on my way. And we're like, we have news.
Oh my God.
And Shivani, my wife, had
Someone's
also,
going to hell.
Shivani had also gotten out of a bad relationship. And then,
Were you upset about this broken engagement, or was like,
yeah,
not-
but
okay.
6 months later, I'd moved into, I had done the thing where I'd saved all my money and I hadn't really spent on anything. I was like, I'll spend after marriage. So I'll get a proper house and, I'll
Right.
do that. And so suddenly I was single and I had a fuck ton of money and
Yeah.
I'd just done a movie and I was like, let's go. Just like, let's revenge retail this whole thing. So I got my first ever like bachelor pad and like spent on myself. And then Shivani showed up at that housewarming. My friend brought her. And they were like, you two should just hook up and like just rebound with each other and have this be like 4 weeks and don't catch feelings.
So hold on. You're 6 months out of
Yeah.
that breakup. You're
that
in your new apartment.
Yeah.
Apartment house. What is it?
Apartment, like a
Bachelor
2-bedroom.
pa-
I've
bachelor pad.
just done my first movie. Things
So
are on the
Are you
rise.
famous from the movie yet?
No, it hasn't come out
It
yet.
hasn't come out yet, but you got the money in the bank.
I got the money in the
So
bank.
now this friend brings Shivani, who's your now wife,
Yes.
and is like, how long had she been out of the bad
About
relationship?
the same.
6 months.
Yeah.
So now you see her, you're like, hot, fun.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, and she...
Probably had a lot to talk about with the broken.
Yeah, and she
engagement.
runs
Right.
rock concerts. Like she used to run India's Rolling Stone magazine. It's called Rock Street Journal. And
Okay.
So she used to do like concerts for like Megadeth and like jazz festivals. And I'm in a band as well, so there's that connection. And I'm like, oh, she understands tour life and events. Like this is somebody who's also unimpressed by artists. That's huge.
That's
you know?
big.
Where she's like, I've seen every rocker in this country, cry before their
fazed, right,
show.
yeah.
I'm unfazed by any sort of stage artist.
And so
which
there's
is
a
hot.
connection there right away.
For sure. For
And
sure.
and what happens at this party?
We hang out all night. We
Yeah.
talk all night. And then we bang like villagers pretty much. Like,
Right.
we make it to like 5 a.m. and then we hook
So
up.
night one
Right.
fucking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
We like
it
these
can
types
happen.
of details.
He can
Yeah.
marry you still.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
these are the details that matter. You get these people that come out with rules
Right,
and this.
yeah, he's
you gotta
never
do
No,
this.
no, no.
Yeah.
We felt something, and then we just spent the next like month, sort of, quote unquote, casually hooking up, saying we're not catching feelings,
Right.
feelings, and like desperately catching feelings.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Doing that thing where it's like you have the excuse of 6 months
Yeah,
and this is just fun, and then the excuse.
it was. I remember it like it was yesterday. Like the moment it solidified for both of us was because we were kind of not seeing other people, but other people were interested in us.
You're out there.
right? You're out there, and I'd hooked up with Shivani, and I think she before me had hooked up with this guy who was very good looking man, and on this movie at the studio I met this this model, right,
Nice.
and it was one of those where like. I'm 5'8". I'm like, I want to try and see if I can climb
Right.
a model. You know what I mean?
No,
That would be-
this is a very like I think this
This
is a
is
human thing.
I think this is all amazing because this is not the Our Story page. I want to
Right.
right.
This is the dirty truth.
Right. Yeah. This is what, and this is behind a 9.5 year marriage. So
Yeah.
this is like a
So-
true success. Let's hear-
But it's also interesting, like, we talk about the messy stuff in
Yeah.
relationships. This is messy, because it's a messy thing to admit that, like,
Right.
I got, I've connected mentally with this woman.
Right.
And then I have a model.
Well,
And
yeah,
you
that's what
go,
I'm saying.
I can't not. I got to drive a Ferrari.
If you weren't a comedian and it was 10 years later, your version of the story would be we met at a party, we spent the whole night talking, we hooked up, and it was and that was it. That was the end of it from there.
No, it
like
was.
that's what I'm saying.
there's
This is
layers
a
to this.
real story.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I've gone on 2 dates with this model before I meet Shivani. Then we hook up with Shivani, and about 2 weeks pass, and then it's the third date with the model. Right?
Right.
And so it's the third
The
date
third
dress. It's
I
the
just love how you said rickshaw and petrol, and I'm like, he's from another planet. And now you're talking about I'm on the
third
third
date
date, and I'm
dress?
like, we're speaking the same language. Third date, we're fucking.
yeah. So I go to this.
In India and here. This
Yeah.
is great. I love it. I'm warm to know that it is so similar.
10% away.
That's
Yeah,
right.
let's hear it. Yeah.
Right, Jorge?
We show up at the
Like, get me
bar,
involved in this.
me and the model, and I see Shivani sitting there with another guy,
Come on.
and I'm just
I
like,
thought this is India. There's so many people, such a huge place.
2,000 people at
it's
the
like
wedding.
Yeah.
a place called Zenzi where everyone I knew hung out, and I saw her there with another guy, and I was just like, I'm dropping this model home and heading straight to Shivani. So I remember like this really sweet girl, third date dress. I'm dropping her home, and she's like, "You should find a place to park." It's not a metaphor, but just
Right,
like find a place to park your car. And I'm literally just messaging Shivani saying, "I will be at your door in like 20 minutes."
Come on.
Oh, wow.
How far away were your tables?
Like 20 feet.
20 feet.
But
Are
I
you
still tell
catching
Shivani, I'm like,
eyes? Is it awkward?
It's awkward, and I'm like, if you ever break up with me, I'm calling that model like the next morning.
What if you found out? What if you found out today that she knew you were going on a date there? She grabbed a friend and
She's like,
knew it,
That's
right.
the next Bollywood film.
let's go cock block him.
Right.
No, it was, and he was a very good looking man as well. So I was instantly jealous. I was just like, fuck this.
that's the way to go.
Well, that's you nailed it. Hired actor. That was John Abraham. Well, I
Listen,
think.
your dad looked really good that night.
Well, you know what's interesting? You're saying something you said just now that I think is like it's like you tasted an emotion.
Yeah.
The emotion wasn't "fuck, I'm caught."
Yeah.
The emotion was "fuck, I'm on the wrong date."
And this guy's a nice enough guy where you could see her falling in love with that guy. Like he wasn't just a hookup. He was legitimately like nice.
Did you know
guy.
him or
I
just
knew him.
you knew him?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh fuck.
You knew
this
his
guy's-
background. You
Yeah.
knew like, oh, this is a catch.
Yeah, he pays his taxes and like, he has his shit together and like he's a good boyfriend.
Well,
Fuck this guy.
you know what the lesson I'm getting from this story is that men just don't want to be with someone who's too available.
I mean, there's an element of like,
You want to feel like you caught it a little bit.
right?
I think.
I think that's part of it. But I
There is
also
a game
think
to it.
there's a game, but you also like, it's very hard to like create that. I think if someone
Right.
tries to create that,
Yeah.
like, you gotta catch me, it's like it does. It
You can't
wears
play the
thin.
games. You have to just be that way.
Yeah, but I also think
Right.
like modern dating, as I understand it from like Instagram and friends that I have, everybody's turned themselves from like, how do I put this? From like a teammate to a goalpost.
Okay, explain that.
You're like, I'm your destination, as opposed to both of us are just in this thing together and we'll fucking figure it out, right? So it's like, oh, I'm this mountain you need to climb, and to climb it you need all this equipment. You need to have this much in the bank, and you need to have your shit together, and your apartment must be this size, etc., etc., etc. And so people have turned themselves into this achievement, but they forget that, like, no one stays at the top of Everest for more than 10 minutes. After that, you go down and try and climb another mountain, right? So if you,
Right.
Even if you climb it.
even if you climb it, right?
That's
So
it,
if you
yeah.
keep positioning yourself as the peak of Everest, nobody's going to hang out with you. You
It's
want to be
interesting.
base camp and see if we can fucking
Right.
ascend together, right? That's the dichotomy that I find.
Well, to that point, at the time, Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
movie hasn't come out yet. You guys commit to each other.
Yes.
Then movie comes out.
Then movie comes out.
Okay.
Which is a good way to do it. It's good to be with somebody who's with you before you were famous.
I went on your podcast, and this is something that I remember you telling me, when we were
Yeah.
talking, and I think it's so interesting because now you blow up in this movie, and now you're the double-decker bus.
Yeah.
And how do you guys handle that together as a couple? Is there distraction?
Jealousy.
Right, jealousy, all those things.
No, I just think it was much more stressful than any of us signed up for. Because again, it goes back to that thing of, stand up is accessibility, being open, being humble, and ego doesn't really matter in stand up. Like, you'll bomb at a club irrespective of how famous you are.
Right.
And then suddenly, movies, you get surrounded by this entourage and you become this enterprising. Now, everybody's interested in just you and kind of hopping on the train a little bit. And
There's money to be made on the train.
but there's 10 more people in the compartment where there were two of you. So now there's always a manager around. Now there's always enterprise around. So we struggled with that in the initial years, where it was, why are we never alone? Was a question we just kind of asked each other. And the tough thing with that is you cannot actually find time alone. You need to have that many people around you in that first phase. You need like a manager full time. You need like a publicist, at least in Bollywood early, to kind of build your
to navigate the whole.
to navigate the whole thing, and then you figure out who's right and wrong. So we just didn't see each other for like the first year and a half or two until we kind of said, "What the fuck is going on? Like I never see you."
What do you do? How do you, how do you schedule that? What do scheduling isn't sexy.
It's not sexy, but I think you need one person to be a rock, and she's that. Like, I need a grounding force.
He's the star.
He's the star.
Yeah.
But she held it down. Like she held everything down.
Give examples. Like, as far as like, is she saying, here's the weekend you got to keep free?
Or
is
I'll
it
come
like,
to you?
what is
Yeah.
the,
Stuff
what's
like
the dynamic?
that. But also, okay, fine. I will come with you to these cities across the world when you're touring. But I'll also come to Arlington, Texas. Along with Edinburgh, Scotland.
Right.
And if we're staying at some random hotel where there's a parking lot and one barbecue place, I'll fucking do that as well.
Right.
So now that takes security and stability to come along for
That's
that.
the base camp.
That's the base camp, but that also means holding down the house, like we had a dog. I was not able to be active in any of those things. You're providing, but you're not actively participating in all those things. You need somebody to kind of hold that stuff down as well. And she has a job and a career, so she's just stability, and reality that I crave at all times.
And are you tempted at all because you have this newfound fame and there's probably like more people throwing themselves at you, I would imagine. I don't know if it's Instagram then, but like
I kind
9
of
years ago. Yeah.
I say this with no sense of arrogance, all right? But comedians, we sometimes lose our mind when we get famous because the sex that we're interested in has just never entertained us at all for the longest period of time. And then suddenly you're fucking 30 and you blow up and everybody wants to have sex with you. And that's when comedians kind of lose their fucking mind. Right?
I have a different experience, but I'm wondering where all these people that want to fuck me are. But no, good. No, there's the Chris Rock line. You brought it up on this show before, like
the tambourine thing.
There's the tambourine, and also, yours
Your option, loyal as your options.
as loyal as your options.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing.
But I think I was lucky in that I didn't get famous until I was like 27, 28. And I'd kind of gotten a lot of fucking out of my system by then. And
That's important,
And I was
yeah.
in a co-ed school and did all right.
were okay.
So I had enough interest and relationships before I got famous.
It's amazing. And is she on the road with you now?
She's not. This one I'm just here for the Emmys. So she runs a camp that does medication and feeds stray dogs in Goa,
wow.
in this town that we're in. So she's kind of doing that right now, and so she's in the middle of that camp. So yeah,
That's amazing.
And how long were you dating before you got married?
I want to say 2009 to 2014. So that's yeah.
So you dated a while.
We dated a while.
Why'd you wait so long?
We just lost 2-3 years in the beginning of fame. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it just kind of got away from us, and then we had to find our way back to settling down. And one was just shooting back to back. It was.
Right.
It's tough to schedule a wedding, and then finally we were just like, all right.
It's hard to get 2,000 people and ready.
No, but see,
there on
check
the
this
same
out.
day.
My actual wedding, 80 people plus 40 family
Oh wow.
on a beach in Sri Lanka.
So 120 people.
120 people. No cell phones.
No cell
no
phones.
cell-
No
Wow.
cell phones.
Where do they go?
You're not allowed to bring them out at the wedding, so you can leave them in your hotel room.
Who's monitoring that? Like who?
We had people.
You had people.
You
Yeah,
can't
absolutely.
have them. They haven't sending them to the press.
I know.
Yeah,
This
exactly,
is the this is the interesting thing. I want to know.
Yeah, and
how
then-
do you tell? Like, I mean, come on. There are people listening. Like, people can't even handle their aunt who's in the aisle with the iPad.
Yeah, oh my God,
How
that
do you?
person.
Like that exists at every wedding. How do you police grandma?
I think we just kind of said it's important that we connect with each other on this one, and then also like how do I put this? There's a lot of people at our wedding who would like to have been away from the public eye for about 2.
So there
3
was
days.
other famous people.
There's a couple of other famous people, and a
People
lot
are
of
kind
like
of a big deal.
like a lot of rockers and like so like
Oh,
we
right,
just had
'cause she's in the business, too.
artists at our wedding. Like we had a wedding band in Sri Lanka. Right, it was these really sweet kids who like played like Bruno Mars covers and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
That's very
and they lasted 10 minutes before my crowd was just like, "Fuck off and leave your equipment, please."
Mick Jagger's like moving aside,
Just get
kiddo.
the fuck off stage. And then we just had like rockers go up there, and we had a concert at our wedding. It was great.
That's amazing.
That's so fun.
I just think it's so cool. I mean, like that's a movie to me in itself. Just to go from obscurity, and then you go in a movie, and now you're married and with this person that is your rock, and you're also going to do stand up. Like you're doing the road. That's another thing. Like what, as far as cities are concerned, where in America surprised you? Where in America do you hate?
Also, is Goa worth a trip? I was thinking of.
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah.
Is
Cool.
what?
I've heard it's beautiful.
Goa is
there.
where I
Goa,
live,
Yeah.
and it's like a little beach. Have you
heard
seen the
it's be- I heard it's
Bourne
beautiful.
Supremacy?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so if you look at the second part of the Bourne movies, he's in this Indian town where the girl dies. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Apologize. Yeah, because you were so invested in the girl in the Bourne movie.
Come
Right?
on.
So I hate Columbus, Ohio.
Really? Oh
I'm just gonna say it. Like,
no! What about Columbus? I've been, love it. Funny Bone, please have me back.
That's your least favorite city.
that's
in
my least
America.
favorite city. I did this rock venue called Kemba Live or something like that, and it was. The echo was all over the place, and the crowd was just like, I guess we're in a rock venue, so we don't have to behave
so we're
at
just
all.
gonna- yeah,
So it was
I know
just
that
non-captive, and so that's, I don't like Columbus, Ohio. My favorite place to perform is New York, Mumbai, and Edinburgh. I love Edinburgh.
What about Edinburgh? Do you love?
The Fringe Festival.
Yeah, okay.
It's great. It's a fucking basement for an hour a day. And 40 people show up or 50 people show up, but it just does good things to your brain to be at a comedy festival like that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Never been.
American comics sometimes don't enjoy it
Yeah, I've heard
because
that.
they need like narrative and a story to your show.
Yeah. You got to go there and talk about how like everything in your life is horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do well there. Mine would be called my sad tale of having 2 Power Wheels growing up.
So what is your secret, would you say, to your marriage?
Um.
9.5 years. Seems like it's going well.
Time apart, going on the road.
I mean, I bet, is that part of it though? Like, does that add a little,
Spice,
excitement?
Well,
missing each
absence,
other.
yeah, absolutely. But I think admiration. Like she has the strength I wish I had.
Okay.
That's what keeps me in it, at least. Like she's the strongest person I know. So like her approach to any situation in life would be stronger than my approach to any situation in life, and she's more centered about any sort of situation than I have the ability to be. So when something goes off or awry, I'm just like, what does she think?
So she's like the calm, logical.
Not even calm. No, she runs hot. You know what I mean? And she's not afraid of conflict, and she's not afraid of taking shit head on, which I am sometimes.
Okay.
So she's just strong, like very strong woman.
Love that.
Very feisty, fierce, intelligent, strong woman. You know?
It's great.
Amazing.
I mean, that's fun. You
Yeah.
want,
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
you know, to have someone that's like the guard dog.
Yeah, we're
pain in the ass, as you say.
pain in the
as
ass.
you call
I
it.
may
do want
not
a pain in the
text her
ass.
that and
Yeah.
feel like, hey, you're a good guard dog.
Yeah, I like that.
You need
yeah?
someone to yell at the hostess that your table was supposed to be ready.
Yeah, but also like neither one of us is particularly domesticated. Like we will both fuck up toast. Neither one of us can cook, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not like homebodies. We're
Right.
just she's just very strong.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah.
It's amazing. I just think it's like the world feels so big and small at the same time. You know, just like when you see you at the cellar.
Yeah.
You do 15 minutes. Everyone's doing their sets.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go. I also live at the beach in Goa. Like it's like crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started working the cellar, it was weird as well because they're like, why are there 10 brown people in the audience tonight?
Right. Well, it changes things.
Well, are
Yeah.
your shows mostly Indian people?
Now with the specials, Touchwood, it's starting to be like 60-40 in
Okay.
America. But like, no, there's places I'll go in the world. Like if I'm in Oslo or something, it's 90% Indian people who live there who have come out, you know.
Like, because it's like all the Indians in Oslo.
Yeah, they're like, this is our annual get together
Right.
at the Veerdas show. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Indian humor is different than like American humor? Or
No,
is
it's,
it
I
the same
don't
kind of
think
thing?
there is such a, like, I really think the only people who now still have their own humor is Australian people. That's a very specific thing, which
Yeah.
is, it's meaner than any humor in the world.
Yeah.
Australian people are fucking brutal.
They're
with their-
always at the late shows when they visit here. And
Australians?
The Australians are always at the late
Why
shows.
are they so mean?
They're like it's like a frat house there.
Yeah. They just live far away,
right.
descended
Right.
from crime, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just tougher.
Descended from crime. I remember
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very funny.
They're tougher, meaner people.
Yeah.
What do you think of arranged marriages?
It's a big fucking, it's a great system.
It's a great
Great
system.
It's a great system.
Were your parents arranged?
My parents were not, but here's what happens with arranged marriage, right? You get to fall in love after you get married. Now think about that. Marriage is generally equated with the loss of love, with the gradual erosion of whatever,
Right.
you know, imagine being 5 years into marriage and having just fallen in love and wanting to fuck all the time.
Well, what if that doesn't happen?
How good does that sound? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Well, then, two good points because how good does that sound? But also,
What if that's not the case? Right.
5
What if it's
years
5
on
years
this
in
shit?
and you're like, this person is so annoying?
Right.
now with modern arranged marriage, they kind of suss each other out, right?
Okay.
And there's a short courtship period, but the fact is your fucking family knows what's good for you more than you do what's good for you. That's the truth. Like you think you deserve this person and your family's like, no, what he really needs is this person and that's what's going to make him happy. And if they get to pick somebody for you, chances are they'll make a better decision than you will.
Well, what determines if someone goes the arranged marriage route or the regular?
I think
Like you.
the privilege, where you're born, you know, what your parents do, whether they were arranged, like there's multiple factors. It's a very diverse country, but it's worked across all privileges, all religions, all cities, etc. It's because you don't take it for granted. You know, you come into it with
There's
a
other people involved.
Yeah.
Right.
You come into it with the spirit of, oh, this isn't going to be great to begin
your
with.
expectations are managed.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to build it together. Like it's like an Uber ride. You know what I mean? Like the destination is selected, somebody else is driving. You're just in the back. Like, what does this button do? You know what I mean? You're just fucking
Interesting.
around.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the pressure is taken off, and
Yeah.
you're like, we get to ease into this. And now, a lot of people will get an arranged marriage and not have kids right away. So they'll be like, let's get an arranged marriage and let's fucking travel for 2 years
Get to know each other.
and get to know each other. It's I've never seen it not work out. well.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
So do you have
Jared,
friends?
should we get your parents
Let's
on
get.
this,
Yeah. I mean, my parents.
I have friends who
Wow.
are arranged and like madly in love with each other, but like literally have a kid, are 5 years in and are just fucking. You know what I mean?
Right, well-
because they fell in love last year.
To go back to the line, the Chris Rock line, you're only as
Loyal as your
loyal
options,
as your
yeah.
options. When the options are taken away, like the
Right.
what do they call it? Paralysis of choice.
Yeah.
You know that is.
Well, it
you see a
also-
lot of people here. I think feel that. I feel that. I have that feeling
Yeah.
sometimes too.
I think it also kind of makes you think like you could make it work with anyone.
Yeah, you could.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I went to college in Galesburg, Illinois with 1,000 kids who just settled for each other. You know what I mean? Because we were in Galesburg, Illinois. We were like, I guess you're hot
The
now.
Midwest is getting crushed by Verdas today. This is well, this is fantastic. Do we want? Is we have any other questions?
I think that like covers it.
We want everyone to go
yeah.
to Verdas's shows.
Yes.
You got to go Carnegie Hall. Do you know how you get there? Practice, practice, practice.
Or Uber.
I think that went over my head.
That's the old joke. How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
You might be-
Practice, practice,
Candace?
practice.
Isn't that from
No.
like Mrs. Maisel as well? It doesn't like Lenny
in the
Bruce.
oldest
Yeah,
joke
it's
in
the
the
oldest joke in the
book.
world. Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't get it?
You guys might be a little older
I went
than me.
too fast. I don't know. We're 100. So Carnegie Hall, Chicago. You're at the
Chicago Theater
Chicago Theater.
is yeah.
That's
Amazing.
huge.
Yeah.
The Tabernacle.
The Tabernacle,
in Atlanta.
the
And
Wilbur in Boston,
we love the Wilbur.
Love the Wilbur.
the Kennedy Center in DC.
Huge venues.
And
These
none
are-
for you, Columbus, Ohio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Short North. So I know this is amazing. Everyone go watch the special. It's called Landing. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
Go.
Congrats to you as well, my
Thank you,
friend,
man.
on the Netflix special.
Thank you.
So happy for you.
I appreciate that. It's Verdas is so funny. I just love. It's so cool to have gotten to know you and to have you on here. This is so awesome.
This is awesome.
I'll be in Columbus this weekend, guys.
If you want to come yell at him,
Yeah.
tell him why the city's great. Thank you so much for coming
you for
on.
having me, guys.
And we'll be back on Wednesday. Bye.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.